Yes, master.
Top 5 worst Zetas in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, courtesy of the Alliance and good old Maurice and I. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Our number 5 worst Zeta in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is Farmboy Luke Skywalker's unique ability. Actually, no, his leader ability. Sorry.
Easy, yeah.
Leader ability, sorry. His unique's actually pretty cool, but his leader ability is A New Hope, and the Zeta actually gives you 5% tenacity, and it's whenever an ally resists a detrimental effect, they gain advantage for 2 turns. That's what the Zeta actually does for you. So why do we have that at number 5 here, Maurice?
Well, because tenacity in an arena setting is big. So you get 50% tenacity, which isn't terrible, but it's not enough. But the Zeta itself only gives 5%, like you mentioned. And then whenever an ally resists a detrimental effect, they gain advantage. I mean, out of all, there's so many Rebel leads out there that don't even require a Zeta that are heaps better than this. This is not a good leader ability, and the Zeta is almost just like a smack in the face. And if you look on the SWGOH, there are lots of people, thousands of people that have invested in this leader ability. I couldn't believe it. How many people? It was on like the second page at the bottom. I couldn't believe how many people did that. But I mean, that's a bad one, guys. Don't do this Zeta.
Yes, no, I agree. It'd be different if Farmboy Luke was a first order character and advantage had some sort of other benefit to the other allies, but it doesn't. And the tenacity, obviously, I think can help if you have a high tenacity squad. Like if you've modded your team for high tenacity, then it helps. But I've always been sort of a proprietor of the fact that if you're not going all tenacity, then don't go at all. Like if you're not going to go over 100% tenacity with all your mods and secondaries and everything, if you're not going to be amassing over 100% or 100% tenacity, then there's no reason to do it, because you're not going to really see enough of the benefit for it to make sense and not go for another statistic. So again, if you have like an all tenacity squad, I mean, maybe there's something there. I used to think that this leader ability had some viability. I'm glad I've never taken the plunge and gone crazy into it, but I do have to say that the Zeta doesn't really give you that much benefit. 5% tenacity and 2 turns of advantage, you don't really need that. So that's our number 5 worst Zeta in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Moving on to number 4 worst Zeta in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, K2SO's unique ability, and that is reprogrammed Imperial Droid. Now, I know this ability personally very well because I have it. Okay, so listen, I'll tell you, I don't know what I was thinking, all right, but if somehow it made sense to me when I first got the Rogue One characters, I thought I was going to put this whole awesome Rogue One team out there. I did really well in the tournaments. I had a 7-star Jin, a 7-star Cassian. I had K2SO. Obviously, he was free for us Android folks out there at first. So I was able to get him really, really easily. And I had this full Rogue One squad. I was like, let me do this, right? So I threw the Zeta on him. And man, is it bad. It's 1% protection for every time he gets hit. So, basically, if he gets hit 10 times, or if he takes damage 10 times, you're getting 10% protection back. Now, over the course of, let's say,
we're getting max.
Right.
Yeah.
Over the course of, like, let's say, a raid, it can add up at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, over time, if he's taking less damage than he's regaining, then he can kind of gain his health back. But it's really, I mean, you do not see the benefit in Arena or in TW anywhere like that. So it's a horrible Zeta. Take it from experience.
The character sucks too. I mean, this is a Zeta ability that's specifically meant to match Jin's leadership ability. Because I mean, when this was released, there was really no way to generate protection regeneration without that leadership. Like there was very, very few ways to get. It's not like it was now, like where there's all sorts of protection, regeneration. There was very, very few ways to do so. And, you know, I don't know. It's bad. Yeah, it's very bad.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say this is definitely the fourth worst Zeta in the game. But moving on to our number 3 worst Zeta in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. You said it, Grim. Bodhi Rook. And it's actually kind of perfect timing for us to discuss this because I'm actually going to be Zetaing my Bodhi Rook very soon. And it's not by choice. It's because I was, I guess, a little unwise and threw my name into the hat as somebody who would do something wild if we got a certain goal reached on our donation stream on Reality Skew Gamers. And now I'm about to unlock Darth Treya, and I'm going to use 20 Zetas on Bodhi Rook, which is fine. I'm just going to go all Bodhi. Okay, this is the way I look at it, right? If I'm going to put Zetas on Bodhi, I might as well just get him to Gear 12, load him up with some Omegas, and see what happens, right? I mean, there's not a lot of Bodhis out there, okay? There's not, all right? So maybe there's a secret weapon hidden there that I just don't know about yet. Maybe nobody knows about it yet, but I'm going to find it, okay? I'm telling you, I'm going to find it, and Bodhi's the man, all right? So his Zeta is actually double duty, and what does a Zeta actually do for him, Maurice?
Basically, I think it's at the end of his turn. At the end of his turn, he gives offense up to a character that doesn't have it. The end. So, again, this is one that's specifically catered to match with Jin, right? So, I mean, because then you would get the offense up and a little bit of protection regen, but it's just not enough. I mean, to pair it with Jin, that means you have to remove another character from the team. And who are you going to put in? Bodhi Rook for Churret? You going to put him in for Maze? You know, like what? Just terrible Zeta. Not good.
No, he is just overall as a character not really that interesting. He's kind of a joke, actually. And he really doesn't have a ton of viability. One of those characters they just kind of threw in with the Rogue One movie. And I find it kind of weird, to be honest with you, because Bodhi Rook, I mean, you know, we didn't get Snoke or any of the Imperial Guards, the Praetorian Guards out of Last Jedi. We got more characters out of Rogue One than we got out of Last Jedi. We got Bodhi Rook, we got Biston, we got Scarifrow Pathfinder, you know, Jyn Erso, you know, we got.
I had to go out of my way to make this list. Like include other characters besides Rogue One on there. Like their Zetas are terrible. Not a very good faction.
We got so many Rogue One characters in this game, and we got like literally Kylo Ren unmasked, Rey Jedi training, and you know I think like 2 other characters from Last Jedi, a saga film.
Yeah, that is kind of odd.
All right, whatever.
And they're still tweaking them. We just got that Rogue One tag recently. You know, that's a relatively new thing.
Yep, because they're gonna make a sequel. It's gonna be called Rogue 2. and they're gonna have a synergy together. It's gonna be Jyn Erso's Force Ghost. She's gonna come back and you know she's gonna steal the Death Star in general, just the whole Death Star. So she so Bodhi Rook grants offense up for 2 turns to a random ally who doesn't have it, and that's really all it does. That's definitely not worth a Zeta. Don't do it. I'm going to do it for you just so you know you shouldn't do it. And I'll put it on a video so everybody can see it. And it'll be probably the worst moment of my life. But I hope you guys get to enjoy that moment with me on camera. So we're going to put that together. But that's our number 3 worst Zeta in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. How could it get worse from there, you say? We have our number 2 worst Zeta in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And that is Jyn Erso and her ability to be immune to stuns. That's it. 20 Zetas and you can be immune to stuns. An ability that can be resisted anyway.
I mean, if you got Palpatine and you try to go in and stun the Rogue One team, you stun all 4 characters except Jyn, and then Jyn can, you know, really just wipe out. Jyn comes in with her basic attack does like 3,500 damage on a crit. I mean, that's a whoopee. You know, she's not stunned. It's so silly. And our friend Cassispella went all in on her and did both.
Oh,
I remember that when she came out, he put 2 Zetas on her immediately.
That's horrible. Yeah, no,
that's pretty bad, guys. Don't. No.
Her leader's actually okay. Her leader's actually pretty good. I have that Zeted, but you can see I did avoid the Jin unique, and that's because not even I was that dumb. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I believe in Rogue One, which was a horrible choice in the first place, just believing in Rogue One, but that Zeta is just not worth it. Stun immunity, just have Yoda on your team or Rex and just get tenacity up. Don't do it. But that's
apart from her leadership, I don't think there's really no Zetas you should put on that team besides her leadership. They're all bad. Like we could have very easily had a top 5 of all Rogue One for this because.
Well, Maurice and I actually went back and forth a little bit about Cassian's unique being on here, and I thought, first of all, we don't want to have that many Rogue Ones on here, but I think Cassian's unique is actually okay. I'm not a hater of it. Starting off the battle with protection up for I think it's 3 turns is not bad. That's again, could you get a lot more bang for 20 Zetas than that? Yes. There's definitely much better Zetas in the game than that, but I think that Cassian Zeta, the protection up for 3 turns to start the encounter, does work out to benefit certain characters. So, for example, if you start off with, for example, Sokatana Fulcrum, and she gets all the benefits from those buffs to start the encounter. So she already has, a whole bunch of buffs to start off with, like on a Rogue One team. That could be a benefit. Or if you're facing against, especially since the Jin lead, because you have the Zeta there too, so you're getting protection from her. I think that it's not that bad. But her unique and K2SO's unique are definitely not worth it. And the only one that's really worth putting on there for sure is her leader ability, without a doubt. That's definitely 100%, a viable Zeta. But moving along to our number 1 worst Zeta in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, number 1, Stormtrooper.
Oh boy.
So why is Stormtrooper the worst Zeta?
Well, he's pretty bad. He's, what is it, 40% offense every time an ally Empire character dies? I'm just winging it. I'm trying to pull it up here. My stuff's lagging. Yeah, 40% offense for each defeated Empire ally. That's cool and all. So that will give you 160% offense on a very wide range of damage on that basic. But good luck cleaning up a team with just Stormtrooper. That's silly. That's
right. 40% offense, which would give you 160% offense if all of your team died.
Yeah.
Except for Stormtrooper. And that's probably not going to win you any battles. So, can you live without Stormtrooper Zeta? I would say, hell yes. You don't need it. Okay? And I'm not going to do it. You shouldn't do it. We should call this the top 5 Zetas you just don't do. Okay? But that's definitely a bad one. I agree 100%. And is that worth 20 Zetas? No. Is it worth 10 Zetas? No. I wouldn't even put 5. Even I would take it. I would take it for 5 Omegas. I might take it for 5 Omegas, but not for 20 Zetas. No. So that's our number 1 worst Zeta in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We do have an honorable mention this week because we just couldn't put another one on the list, but this one is definitely worth noting, and that is Clone Wars Chewbacca Zeta. I bet you a lot of you guys didn't even know that Clone Wars Chewbacca had a Zeta, but in fact, he does. And what it does is it gives you 5% heal on his Defiant Roar, plus, what is it, turn meter? I believe he gets...
Well, he gets 25% additional. doesn't even give you. It brings up to 50% chance to gain turn meter. He cleanses himself and does some other nonsense that's not helpful at all. So pretty bad.
Yeah, it's a horrible Zeta. It's a 25% turn meter gain, plus 10% heal, and dispel all debuffs from self. So basically, I mean, you know, it went from making Clone Wars Chewbacca completely unusable to just unusable. Yeah, I mean, so he went from being completely unusable to just unusable, period. And I mean, he took basically. I didn't even know that this existed. I mean, to be honest with you, I was sitting there looking through Zetas, and I was thinking to myself, like, what's the worst Zeta here? And I saw Clone Wars Chewbacca had one. And I said, this one has to suck, and it totally does. And so it's worth mentioning. But that's our friends don't let friends, Zeta, Stormtrooper, or Chewbacca, or Bodhi Rook. But you guys are gonna let me do that. So that's our top 5 worst Zetas in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Yes, Master.